In 2006, scientists pulled up a fish, this fish, but they couldn't say for sure what it was. They couldn't even say what family it belonged to. And the name they landed on was only the second worst thing they'd learn about it. The Bony-Eared Assfish belongs to a family of cusk eels, which aren't eels, but eel-shaped fish. A fitting taxonomy for an animal that's so remarkably stupid in so many unique ways. So, these marine biologists, their problem with identifying the assfish was that a fish needs to have fish features, fins and bones and things. And our friend the assfish had given those bits away a long time ago, because it lives 2.5 miles down. It's being crushed in all directions by 6,500 psi, pounds per square inch, of water, where the water is just above freezing and there's barely any food. Oh, and the bony-eared assfish doesn't really see the sun. So the eyes went first. Of course, no light, no reason to see. So they shrunk into 2 little useless dots. And the assfish swapped muscles out for tendons, because tendons can hold a pose without burning any calories, unlike muscles. Then the rest basically just filled up with salt water. The bony-eared assfish is 90% water. But you don't have to look too closely at the thing to see that there's a lot of something there. But one thing's for sure, it's not thoughts. Remember I said the name was only the second worst thing about the assfish? So they weighed one of these little things' brains, right? It weighed 6 milligrams, not grams, milligrams. For reference, a paperclip weighs 1 gram. There are 1,000 milligrams in a paperclip, and the assfish's brain is just 6 of those. Like, if you cut a grain of rice in half, that would still be twice as much brain as is floating around in that fish's empty skull. The smallest brain to body size ratio of any animal on Earth with a spine. I mean, if you're this ugly, maybe being really, really stupid too wouldn't be so bad. Know what I'm getting at? But the worst part is, the fish skimped on the brain, the muscles, the eyes, the anything really, and dumped every last cent into one organ. And it's not the one organ I would invest in if I was this ugly. And it wasn't the stomach either, before you think it's the stomach. Because it doesn't even eat, alright? Scientists pull these things out of the water, and their stomach is empty. Over and over, empty. And it's not on GLP-1s, it just couldn't be bothered to find a worm. There are worms down there at 6,000 psi, but it won't hunt. It just hovers there, motionless, and waits for food. And when the food doesn't come, it doesn't panic, it's chill. It gave away the parts that panic. So it just waits, perfectly still, perfectly level. Because remember that one organ, the one thing it refused to give up? You'd never guess it. Ears. Pound for pound, it has one of the biggest inner ears of any fish that has ever lived. This animal has no brain, barely any eyes, no muscles, can barely move, but it always knows, down to the degree, exactly which way is up. Why would this brainless water balloon spend its entire evolutionary life savings on balance? You don't even have legs. Is it even possible to fall underwater? Of course, if your brain is the size of 1/4 of a grain of rice, yeah, sure, maybe you'd fall, but maybe it's not that stupid if we take a second and think about what up means 3 miles down, right? There's no light, there's no horizon, no floor you can see, no surface anywhere. Maybe you're just chilling in the wrong direction, you'd never know. And the only thing left that can tell you which way is up is that ear. And you know, if you think about it, all the brain power we use is to figure out which direction we're going in, right? And then once you know the place you're headed, you could basically just check out. The bony-eared assfish just cut out the middleman and chose to hang out. Pretty smart for a dumb assfish. Now, you'd assume it was born like this, right? Blind and broken, but it wasn't. Which makes this fish's life story that much more tragic. Because when an assfish hatches, it isn't in the dark, because the eggs float up, and the larva has long streamers trailing off of its fins, fluttering behind it. For one brief chapter of its life, this animal has a look. It has potential. Then, like all transitions into adulthood, it replaces all that beautiful, bright potential with the bone-crushing, mind-slurping limitations of reality. Or 3 miles of seawater, whatever. I guess we're not so different, huh? Us and the assfish. Maybe we were being unfair earlier, blaming it for circumstances it didn't really choose. After all, like many of us, the assfish was just handed a bill racked up by its family. That's right, assfish It's a last name. There's an entire family of assfish, around 170 species, all deep, all pretty gelatinous, all destined for a life of perfect level at the bottom of the ocean. I mean, what? There's an abyssal assfish. There's a gluten assfish, gluten as in gluey. The entire description, I swear. And the robust assfish too, definitely a heavy hitter. There's also a scientifically recognized group of these called the typical assfishes, which, first of all, means a scientist held one of these in his hand and goes, yep, that's what a typical assfish should look like. And second, means there's an even worse group of assfish that are atypical. Imagine being an atypical assfish. Jeez. Some fish are stronger than ought to be. And like any family, you have the overachievers, right? The deepest fish ever found in the entire ocean was also an assfish. Not the bony-eared assfish, this kind of assfish. 5 miles deep in some Puerto Rican trench. So even at giving up and going down to the dark, the bony-eared assfish came in second to its own sibling. Sorry, Boney. Can't catch a break, can you?